Hello world, Omega here.
In this video, we will be working from Blueprint, and I will be showing you how to use some of the most common functions included with my Unreal Engine inventory system. In today's lesson, we will build an item converter that turns spoiled meat in the player inventory into vials of poison. Along the way, you will learn how to access the player inventory system and storage components. You will also learn how to check item quantities and how to add and remove items from the player inventory. We will be continuing from where we left off in the quick setup guide. If you have not watched that video yet, pause this one and go watch that now. When you build something new, it helps to break the goal into smaller problems. Our goal is to convert one item into another item. That means we remove one item and we add a different item. To do that, we need a reference to where the item is stored and where the new item will go. We also need a way to trigger the conversion, the activator. So the 4 problems in order are: trigger the conversion, get a reference to the player inventory storage component, remove items from the player's inventory, and add items to the player inventory. We will start with the activator, then move through the rest in order. To keep this simple, I already set up a foundation to trigger the process. We will activate our item conversion using the push button included in the demo content. This button is just an actor with an overlap event, and we will use that overlap event to run our custom logic. Go to the demo folder, then map helpers. Right-click BP_button, then select Create Child Blueprint class. I will name mine BP_button_item converter. Drag your new button into the level, then open the blueprint. Because the button already handles the overlap for us, we can override the on-button pushed event it created. This event gives us a reference to the player controller who stepped on it. The player controller pin is how we access the inventory system. In the setup guide, we manually added this component to our player controller. To get it in Blueprint, drag off the controller pin and use Get Component by Class, then select AC Inventory System. The output on this node gives us access to everything inside the component. From there, call Get Storage Component to get the player storage component you want. This function takes a storage type enumeration, and it returns a reference to the AC Inventory storage component associated with the storage type for the player. We will need to use this storage component reference in a few places, and to keep the graph clean, we will store it in local variables inside a function. Select what we have so far, and collapse it into a function using the right-click menu. Make sure to pass in the controller pin as an input. Name the function Convert Item. I'm also going to rename the controller pin to controller. Now inside the function, set storage type on our get storage component node to inventory, since we are converting items in the player inventory. Next, we will want to save the storage component reference into a local variable named this storage. From the this storage reference, we can add items, remove items, and read item quantities. First, we want to check how many of the item the player has using get item quantity. Set the item row name to meat_spoiled. And promote the quantity output to a local variable. I will name mine this quantity. Now we know how much spoiled meat the player has when they step on the button. Next, we need to use that value to decide what happens. We only want to continue if the quantity is greater than 0, so add a branch to check that condition. At this point, we want to remove one item and add another item. And to do that, we use the this storage variable and call remove item. For the item row name, we want meat_spoiled, but instead of typing it out again, let's create a variable for it. This makes it easy to reuse. On the getItemQuantity node, right-click on the item row name pin and select Promote to Variable. Select the variable on the sidebar, then set it to Instance Editable and Expose on Spawn. This will let us change the value from the Details panel later. I'm also going to rename this variable to Item2Remove, then plug Item2Remove into the Remove Item node. For quantity, we are going to remove them all by using the value in the this quantity variable we saved earlier. Now would be a good time to test it, but we do not have spoiled meat in the level. Instead of waiting for raw meat to spoil, add the item spawner from the demo world in the same folder as the buttons. Place it in the level, then in the details panel set spawn item to meat_spoiled. Press play, and you should see spoiled meat spawning and falling from the spawner. Pick some up, then step on the button to test the remove item logic. The last step is to add the new item, our vial of poison. Go back to the blueprint and continue from the remove item call. Drag off this storage again and add an add item call, then connect it to the execution flow. For this item, create a new variable instead of reusing item to remove. Duplicate the existing variable. Rename it item to add, then compile and save. Set item to add to vial_poison. Connect item to add into the add item node. Set quantity to this quantity, since this is a 1-to-1 conversion. Leave merge item data alone for now. This is for dynamic data, which we will not cover in this video. For the to slot and from slot values, keep them at -1 so the system picks a slot automatically. Press play and test it. When you step on the button with spoiled meat in your inventory, it should convert it into vial of poison. Using the vial spawns our rainbow butterflies. To recap, we use the button to trigger the process. From the controller pin, we get the AC inventory system component. From that, we call get storage component, set storage type to inventory, and save the storage reference. Then we get the item quantity. If the quantity is greater than 0, we remove the spoiled meat and add the vial of poison. Because we made item to remove and item to add variables, we can duplicate this button and convert other items. For example, set item to remove to gold_ore and set item to add to gold_bar. Duplicate the spawner and set it to spawn gold_ore, then press play and test it out. You can learn more functions in the Working in Blueprint chapter of the documentation, and when you are ready to go deeper, open the components we accessed through the references and look through the functions and events they offer. That is your Working in Blueprint lesson for my Unreal Engine inventory system. If you have questions while working in Blueprint and you cannot find the answer in the documentation, feel free to reach out and I will be happy to help. Thanks for watching and good luck with your game.